Hi. Ooh, I'm going to be really honest, but suicide is really horrible, and I don't understand. I mean, I understand how painful life can be, and people want to end it, but I just don't get it. I mean, I do, but I don't. And it's just really hard if you know somebody that you've cared about and they have decided to end their life. I mean, life is hard. I get it. Life is hard. But every day you keep going, you keep trying, you keep living because you are alive. And you are alive for a reason. I don't understand. I do, but I don't. I do, but I don't. So, first person I know who ever committed suicide was a guy from my church. He was the nicest guy. He was a part of the Next Generations group. And I'll never forget one Sunday he just came up and gave me the biggest hug. And then the next week was Thanksgiving. And he decided to end his life on Thanksgiving. I cried for a couple of weeks after that. Um, Please, if you're ever thinking of suicide, just think of the people you leave behind you. Think of the people you leave behind you who care about you, who think you're amazing, who think you're wonderful. So that was my first friend who committed suicide. The second person in my life who decided to end their life was my cousin. My cousin was 12 years younger than me, 13 years younger than me. He was a wonderful person. He was half Asian, half American. He was what we would call an ABC, an American born Chinese. And, when you're born Asian and your mom is Asian, you have it kind of tough sometimes. And he had it tough. He had very high expectations. And it was a little too much for him. So he shot himself. And I was in Germany when I found out about that. I get a message from my sister saying, "Please call home. We need to talk to you." And I thought at the time that maybe my younger sister, was in a car accident. Because I knew she had been in, what do you call it? I knew she'd been on a road trip. But when I called from Germany, my sister let me know that no, it was my cousin. My only cousin. My only cousin in Washington had committed suicide. But he didn't commit suicide in Washington. He committed suicide in Kentucky. when he was back in Kentucky visiting family. And last week, I found out that one of my former students committed suicide. He was also Asian, a beautiful Asian kid in his early 20s. And he was an amazing violinist and pianist, and I know he had a lot of potential. Anyways, it's just really hard. It's just really hard. It's really hard. If you've had one person in your life who has committed suicide, or even 3 people, it just, all I can say is it messes with you. It messes with you psychologically. But I have loved each one of those people dearly. Was I super close to them? No. But I cared about them. And so I just want to say, if you're thinking of killing yourself, please know that somebody cares about you. Somebody cares about you so much. They may not be talking to you, but they've invested in your life somehow. They've invested in your life somehow. And you're important. You're so important. Anyways, I'm gonna kind of wrestle with this for a while, because that's what people who are survivors of suicide victims do. They wrestle. They wrestle. They wrestle with the difficult questions. And just so you know, no one blames you. No one blames you. And you're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. Just know that you're loved. You're so loved. You're so loved beyond anything you could ever understand. Oh, I'm just really messed up. I'm just really messed up after finding out about my violin student, and then it just compounds itself. You just start thinking about every other person in your life who you've cared about, who has decided to end their life. Anyways, I'm sorry. I have no answers here, but just needed to share some real life stuff.